Hello, it's me, Mr. Temmie, coming to you from the virtual Fairlawn High School Planetarium. Welcome. And in this video, I'm just going to walk you through the events of December 21st, 2020. It was the winter solstice, but also the Great Conjunction. And I've had a lot of emails and from students and teachers alike asking me, what was this all about? So I'll explain it in this video. First, I wanted you to take a look at the morning sky of December 21st. And if you take a quick look and note that down the center of the screen is the direction of south, east is off to the left here, and I'm going to indicate west as being over there on the right. And we can see halfway between east and south, the southeast sky, we see the sun is on the rise and we see planet Venus. So we generally call that a morning star or the morning planet of Venus. A neat sight to see. All right, something really cool to see. There's other stuff in the sky. Maybe you see some stars out there. Okay, but as the sun rises, and I'll take you through that and take you through the day, we see Venus kind of moving up and rising, but we also see the sun moving up and rising. I'm going to let the sun come all the way up right to about lunchtime, 12 o'clock. And what's neat is you might notice that the Venus, planet Venus, the sun, and Jupiter are all kind of moving together. And that you have to remember is they're not all moving together around the Earth, okay? Because we believe in the heliocentric view of the solar system. The sun sits at the center of the solar system, okay? And all of the planets go around the sun, and Earth rotates. And because Earth is rotating once a day, every 24 hours, we get to see everything that's in the solar system. We get to see the sun rise and set along with the planets, and we watch the stars rise and set throughout the night as well. Talking about the winter solstice is the shortest amount of daytime and the lowest angle of the sun in the sky at lunchtime. So here we see a animation of the sun rising in the southeast, very close to south. The sun makes it to a very low point in the sky. It's only about 18 degrees up. And then the sun is going to move on to set, but it's going to set in the southwestern sky. Let's look at the summertime. The sun's path is much wider. We have the sun rising north of east in this case. And the sun's path is very wide. It also goes much higher in the sky. So when the sun at about lunchtime reaches its peak, it's at 70 degrees up from the horizon. Remember, wintertime was 17 or 18 degrees. The sun will then move on and set, okay, but again, the sun's path is wide, so it's setting actually north of west. So we get a much longer day in the summer and helps to explain why things heat up. What I'm going to do is take you further into the afternoon and watch what happens when Venus and the sun sets. I'm just going to stop right there because notice what's happening towards the east is we have moon rise is happening. And in this case with the first quarter phase moon rising. And we'll watch that into the night as well. There we go. You may see Mars rising there as well. I'll take you here into the sunset. About 4:30 here. The sun is hitting the horizon. It's pretty nice out. And you do see Jupiter, the moon, and you'll even see planet Mars in the sky. When we look at where Mars and the moon and all the planets are, again, we call that the plane of the ecliptic. Okay, that's kind of if we were to look at a solar system model, we see that plane where all the planets kind of hang out. We're looking at that from the side now. We're seeing where all of the planets and even the sun seem to hang along a line in the sky. It's called the plane of the ecliptic. We'll go a little bit deeper into the night until the sun is down. There you have it. So, what most people didn't realize is Jupiter is so bright tonight because it's not just Jupiter. We zoom in. Okay, we're going to zoom in a little bit closer. We're going to too far. We're going to notice there's another planet out there. Turns out that we're looking at planet Saturn, right next to Jupiter. And if you had a telescope and you zoomed in, you would see both Jupiter and Saturn in the same frame of view. That is a very rare occurrence. In fact, this occurrence is so rare, the last time we had these two planets this close was back in 1623, a very long time ago. And the next time this will occur is actually March 15th, 2080. So this is a neat thing to see on December 21st, but even into the rest of December, even early January 2021, you will certainly be able to see these planets in the sky. As we look at these two planets, you'll see some other objects here. You might see some of the moons of Saturn, okay, moons going around Saturn, but you'll also see some of the moons of Jupiter. These are the Galilean moons of Jupiter, because Galileo was one of the first to view these four moons orbiting Jupiter when he built his first telescope. So how does a conjunction happen? Let's take a look. The best way, I think, to explain a conjunction would be to just look at the model of the solar system. And here we're looking at a top view of the solar system with the sun at the middle and all of the planets in their orbits going around. You can identify Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and we can certainly see Pluto in its orbit around the sun. Get a little bit closer and let's move forward in time. We know that it takes 1 year for the Earth to go around the sun. 1 year. Okay, but we can see that Mercury and Venus are going around a little bit faster. You might notice that Mars is going a little bit slower. It takes more than a year for Mars to go around the sun. So a year on Mars is longer than a year on Earth. We can take a look out and look at Jupiter and Saturn and how they're moving. Okay, and notice they're moving much slower. So, the best way to look at this conjunction situation is to realize that if we're looking from Earth and we look out into space, we're going to be looking out to see where Jupiter and Saturn are right now. We're going to notice that Jupiter and Saturn, really Jupiter's in front of Saturn because it's closer. Turns out that they're about 456 million miles apart. Okay, but coming into December, we're going backwards here, and now forwards again. Okay, here's 2019. But as Earth comes around, in 2020, coming into December of 2020, Saturn and Jupiter are just lining up just right. Okay, and so that creates a planetary conjunction, and in this case, creates the great conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. So something to note here is that we have been using a computer program to show off Jupiter and Saturn and the conjunction. Let me share with you a few pictures that people took with a telescope. And so this one you can see over here on the left is Jupiter with its 4 Galilean moons. Over here is an image of Saturn. It's kind of fuzzy, right? Because they're so far away. Here's a picture of Jupiter and Saturn when they were coming together. This is a few days before the 21st. All right, and take a look at this one. This is another telescope image showing Jupiter here on the left, Saturn over on the right. Well, I hope you're able to learn something more about the conjunction. That's it. Have a great day.